Okay, so my name is Clementine Smithereens. That's the name I go by. And I do some online sex work. So I do custom videos and I sell panties. Dun, dun, dun. But most of what I do is full service sex work. So I have people come to my house and then we have sex and then they pay me and then they leave. So I know that before the internet, a lot of sex workers had to work in really dangerous conditions, like on the street, which makes it more difficult to screen clients, to communicate with other sex workers, to like share information, and to set up like safety networks. Like I always have a kite string if I go to an out call. So if I go to someone like a client's place, I'll always have someone that I like text from the bathroom and text when I leave to like always check in on me. And I mean, obviously, like connecting with and meeting with those kinds of people and other people in the community is much easier online. And then obviously with websites, it's much easier to like communicate with clients at a distance to kind of get a feel for what they're like and to protect ourselves much more easily. Um, Obviously, recently, some of the websites, especially in North America and the States, have been shut down. So like it's getting harder, but we're seeing a resurgence of some more sort of like under the radar sites that are coming to try and stop us from having to move back to the street. Yeah. Yeah, definitely. So legalizing anything means that you place restrictions on it. So the idea of placing restrictions on something that's so private and personal as sex work is dangerous because there are definitely going to be marginalized workers that can't afford to sign up for permits and that kind of thing, or like adhere to specific rules. Whereas if you decriminalize something, you're still legally protected if something happens to you, but you're not placed in this sort of box of like how you can work. What is the hardest part about my job? Just dealing with time wasters, probably, honestly. Just a lot of people message me and aren't interested or they want to waste my time. Um, and I'm busy. Like this is my full-time job. I run a business. I'm working 12 hours a day. Like 90% of my job is just sitting at a laptop, scheduling, marketing. I do so much like cosmetic stuff. I like go to the gym. Like all of this stuff is like curating my image. And then when someone comes along and like waste my time, I'm just like, you know, it's really, yeah. My favorite part of the job is, and there are a few things. First of all, the flexibility it gives me. So I'm also a musician. And it like working for myself lets me schedule all my work around my extracurricular activities. So, or like my passions. So if I have a band rehearsal, I can always make it because I can cancel or reschedule my bookings. And my other favorite part of the job is just I love meeting people that I wouldn't normally interact with in real life, quote unquote. Um, so, like lawyers and doctors and like maybe people who are really right wing while I'm really left wing and we'll have interesting conversations and just like connecting on an intimate level with someone can be really magical. And I've just like learned a lot and I've met a lot of amazing people. So yeah, I'd say those are my two favorite things about the job. I never want to stop doing I don't think I ever want to stop doing sex work. I just really love it. It's super fun. The community is amazing. But yeah, I mean, music has always been a passion of mine. And I've always supported it with whatever job I've had. So, I mean, yeah, I was a server for 8 years, which was hell. and, and so, yeah, that was all to like support my music. But yeah, I mean, I like doing multiple things. So it's not really, like for me, this is definitely like a career choice. It's not like a means to an end. So I started in sex work after like some really crappy life stuff happened to me, and I got like deported from the UK actually. um, Darn you guys. Just kidding. It was my stupid ex. Your British men suck. Anyway, so I came back and I was just like I was not in a good place really, and I was finding it difficult to like hold down a normal or like a civilian, as we call them, a civilian job. And a friend of mine was like doing sugar work kind of stuff, like sugar baby stuff. And so I kind of got into that, and I didn't really know what I was doing. And like I put myself in some really dangerous situations. Like I went to Chicago to see the Rolling Stones with this guy, and I like had only met him one time, and no one knew where I was, and it was just like really not a good scene. Nothing bad happened. It was just stupid of me. So I kind of was doing it just to like, not for some good reasons and for some bad reasons. Like I really just was like, oh, this is like, I just want to feel something, like I'm a disaster. But then also because, yeah, I was like really mentally not in a good place, and I couldn't hold down a normal job. And then, yeah, as time progressed, it like sort of became more healthy. And then, I took a break because I dated this like Captain Save-A-Whore guy. And then after we broke up, I like got back into it, and I met the community, here in Vancouver where I live. And just found a lot of support and started to learn more about like the business side of it, and like how to market myself and how to stay safe and how to have fun. And then it just really sort of turned into a career. And then I've been doing it as my only job for almost a year now. It's so varied, right? Like there's so many different ways you can be a sex worker. Like you can be a stripper, you can be a sugar baby, you can be an escort like I am, you can sell panties, you can be a cam model, you can be in financial domination, which is like something that I think we all wish we could do, where you just sit like, give me money, and then they do what? Yeah, so it's like such a varied, like it's like, oh, I couldn't, like being a doctor, like it's like, what kind of doctor are you? Like, what do it's varied, so it's always interesting. As a sex worker, I cater to all genders, and I have had female clients, mostly male clients though, because everyone knows that women can get laid more easily than men. Unless you have money, apparently. But yeah, I've had female clients, and I also have several duo partners. So I work with other women in the industry for doing that kind of thing. Sometimes there are parties, and a whole bunch of us will get together, and these guys will be like, "Ooh," I don't know, it's ridiculous. Some of the men are really nice, actually. Actually, all of my clients are completely wonderful, and supportive, and like do things like buy me microphones for my music. As a relatively thin, tall, attractive white person, I make a lot more money than people in other demographics. So, yeah, like most of my worker friends who are POCs or people of color can't charge as much as I charge, which is really messed up. It's a really racist industry. So we're working to combat that, and I actually run a fund for BIPOC sex workers, where like white people pay into it, and then like I redistribute money. So we're trying to combat that. But the idea that sex workers just like, oh, so much money, like, yeah, it's better than your minimum wage job, but I mean, just like November, December, January, I barely scraped by. It was so dead. Yeah. Like I was definitely struggling. So it's not always glitz and glamour, unless you're thin and white. Right. So as a sex worker, I'm completely out. So my friends all know, my family knows, my dad knows. He took a while, but he's like really supportive now. And I've like been on the news here locally talking about it. And I also volunteer for a charity that we have here in Vancouver called PACE, which is like run by and is for sex workers. And I'm on their sex worker advisory committee. My face is in all my advertising. I do interviews like this. Sometimes I was like in BuzzFeed about my Tinder getting deleted. So I again, as like a thin white worker, I sort of feel like, not necessarily it's my responsibility, but I feel like I want to take responsibility and try and like start to tackle some of the stigma that surrounds sex work. I probably can't go to the States anymore. I haven't tried in a while, but they do search for like people's faces and stuff. And I have friends who have been banned for life for showing their face in their ads and stuff. Yeah, they don't like us. There's this thing that's going on right now where everyone's conflating sex work with trafficking, and they're not the same thing, right? Because that's like saying that being paid to work and being a slave is the same. Because that's like exactly what it is. I mean, we're all slaves to capitalism in the end. So no one fucking wants to work. Yeah, so there's this whole thing where that's happening, and then also it's like super illegal in the States to be a sex worker. So they don't like us, even though it's legal here. And if I went to the border and I was like, this is my source of income, I'm coming to visit, they would turn me away and possibly ban me for life. Canada is interesting. We have it like decriminalized right now. I think it's quite similar to the UK actually.
Yeah.
It's not really decriminalized, but we have what's called the Nordic model, which means that I, as a sex worker, and it's the same in the States as well, I think, or in the UK as well. I think you guys use the Nordic model. So a sex worker I can work for myself, and I can advertise, and I can collect money from sex work, but I can't work with anyone else because that's like me being their pimp or like profiting off the money that they're making. I can't hire security. I can't hire a driver. I can't work with a friend. So basically I have to work completely alone. And anyone who benefits from the money that I make, so like if I took you out for dinner, that would be illegal because you're benefiting from my money. So you could technically be classified as my pimp.
That's not
So yeah, it's a weird state where like I can work alone, like specifically just me, and make money, but I have to like be alone, and like it's this very sort of shamed idea. And then clients are criminals. Clients are considered criminals, which is also ridiculous. Like my clients are criminals. I don't want my clients put in jail. They fucking pay my bills.